Hello, and welcome back to the pricing channel for small businesses. You know, most of us have a need for automotive transportation just about every day of our lives. Have you ever considered that you have several options for how to obtain that automotive transportation? For example, you can buy a car if you intend to hold on to it for a long time. Or you can lease a car if you know you're only going to want it for 2 or 3 years at the most. And if your need for transportation is real temporary, like a day or two, you can in fact rent a car. If you see those options as 3 distinct ways to access automotive transportation, then this video will make perfect sense to you. Because today we're going to discuss transactional pricing, subscription pricing, and pay-per-use pricing. And so keep the automotive example in mind as we go through this presentation.
Transactional pricing is the type of pricing we're probably most familiar with because we use it every day of our lives. This occurs when product ownership of something passes from a seller to a buyer in a one-time transaction for some price consideration. And so we say that that price is a transactional price. And of course, an example of that type of pricing is when we purchase a car. The title to the car passes from the seller to us, the buyer, in consideration of some one-time price that we pay for the car. Now, subscription pricing is the type of pricing which occurs when the transaction is spread out over a period of time or it's repeated numerous times. In that type of transaction, we call it a subscription, and the pricing that's used for that type of sale is called a subscription price. And so examples of this type of pricing, of course, are magazines, which we receive numerous issues over a period of time, likewise for newspapers, and some apps, which are priced on a subscription basis that is a repeating basis as opposed to just a single transaction. And of course, a car lease is a subscription type pricing because instead of buying the whole car, or the use of the car forever in a single transaction, we're purchasing the opportunity to use the car for a certain period of time. So among the examples of subscription pricing are, again, the car lease. And the car lease is valuable because in some cases, customers can actually buy more car in a subscription than they could in the transaction, because instead of paying off, say, a loan to buy the whole car, they're now only buying the opportunity to use the car for a certain period of time. And so that same amount of money will actually allow them to buy a higher level of automobile. Some apps and software have ongoing maintenance costs or support costs, and so they're priced on a subscription basis because the seller is better protected with a subscription price as opposed to the one-time transactional price, which tends to lock in what it is that the seller receives in selling the software. You know, examples of this are web hosting sites. Those are sold on typically a subscription basis. Accounting software like QuickBooks Online is sold as a subscription, as well as numerous other software applications. Now, some companies, when they sell a product, also sell service contracts for that product. And these are basically subscriptions that allow the service companies to better budget their service resources and to drive customer loyalty. So for example, if you buy an HVAC system from a company and have it installed in your home or business, it's very likely that company will try to sell you a service contract that will allow you to have maintenance done on the system several times a year on a subscription basis, usually billed on an annual basis. Also, companies like Bose, the electronics and audio folks, sell on a subscription basis. And in fact, Bose is pretty famous for their magazine ads that advertise some of their audio products, but never show you the transactional price for the product. Instead, they only show you a subscription price, such as 12 easy payments of $79.95. This tends to make an expensive product look like it's more affordable. And so that's why this subscription price is used in these cases. We can look here at a video of one of the old commercials that Bose used to run for one of their products.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I work at Bose. I bet you've heard of our Tiny Wave music system. Customers tell us they love it, and here's what some reviewers have said.
Forbes FYI said, you'll think you're listening to a system that costs 5 times more. Dick DiBartolo, the Gizmo guy, said, you will be wildly impressed.
It's so easy to use. Just plug it in to hear great sound in your home. Slip in your favorite CD or MP3 CD, or enjoy your favorite AM and FM stations. You can even add an optional multi-CD changer. So whether you prefer jazz or country, classical or oldies, or some good old rock and roll, you should give it a listen. Try the Wave music system for 30 days. If you're not thrilled, return it for a full refund.
Order now and you'll receive a free premium backlit remote with large illuminated buttons. And take advantage of 12 easy payments with no interest charges from Bose.
It's the Wave music system. You'll love it. We guarantee it.
Another type of pricing scheme is pay-per-use pricing. This is kind of a variation on the subscription pricing, but it gets to the issue of how much of a product or service a business is going to use. And so a business may wish to purchase a new software system, but instead of paying a one-size-fits-all transactional price or even a set subscription price, they might prefer a price that matches their actual volume of usage. And so to talk about this more, we'll bring up a new piece of terminology called pricing metrics. So pricing metrics refer to how we go about unitizing our pricing so that it fits customer needs. As an example, in America, we price gasoline by the gallon. But in Canada, we price that very same gasoline by the liter. It's just different ways people are used to purchasing the product and matching the pricing metric, the way it's sold, to what the customer expects. Interestingly enough, medicine is often sold by the dose. So instead of being charged a certain amount of dollars per milligram of medicine, instead we're charged by whatever the dose is. And so if we're told to take 3 doses of medicine per day, we don't have to try and figure out how many milligrams that is, and then what the price per milligram is, and then what the daily cost of the medicine is to us. We can just take the pricing by dose times the number of doses, and that gives us the daily cost of the medicine. Interestingly enough, Netflix streaming service is sold by the month, which is actually a subscription type of pricing situation. Now, another possible metric that we can use is how much of something we use. In other words, I don't want to be sold a monthly subscription that everybody pays. Maybe my usage level is such that being priced by how much I use it is the better metric for me. So to look at this more, let's go back to the Netflix example. As we said in the previous slide, Netflix is sold by the month. But some low volume users might wish there was a per use metric. And so Currently, the basic plan on Netflix is charged at $17.99 a month. That's the subscription price for Netflix. Now, this applies whether you watch 150 shows per month or whether you watch only 5 shows per month on Netflix. And so a low volume user that maybe only watches 5 shows per month, they might really prefer a pricing metric that looked like, say, $1.25 per show. And so if they watched their 5 shows, that would be $6.25 a month instead of the $17.99 for the subscription to Netflix. Now, looking at this further, other small volume users who watch half-hour sitcoms on Netflix instead of 2-hour feature movies might argue for a 50 cents per hour streaming time. Because if they watched 5 shows that were half-hour sitcoms, that would end up being something like $1.50 per month instead of the $17.99 per month for the one-size-fits-all subscription service. The way we price products, whether it's by transaction, subscription, or pay per use, has a bearing on the profitability that we're going to obtain from our products or services. And so transactional pricing, although it tends to be the most straightforward one, is the pricing that is set in an effort to deliver a certain level of profitability to the business. In other words, when we sell something in a transactional form, the price we put on it is in part set so that we are assured of receiving a certain level of profitability in that transaction. In subscription pricing, that profitability might occur to us over a period of time. And over that period of time, we're allowed to align the revenue flows from the subscription with the cost of goods flows so that we can accurately measure our profitability. In a subscription, we might have a lot of upfront costs that we incur in order to receive the revenue over a period of time. And so it's that period of time over which we need to look at profitability so that we can measure the revenues against all of those costs to accurately know what our profitability is over that period of time. And so this period of time could be weekly, it could be monthly, quarterly, or maybe even in some cases annually. It's that period of time that allows us to accurately measure what our profitability has been from the subscription pricing scheme. Pay-per-use pricing, as we said earlier, is kind of a variant on subscription pricing. And in fact, it's really a value-added type of pricing strategy. Because in many cases, this metric allows customers who are not particularly well served by its subscription model and who are willing to pay a premium for a metric more aligned with their needs to afford or want the service or product that we're offering. And in fact, probably in most cases, they won't even realize they're paying a premium in order to have that pay-per-use pricing opportunity.
The pricing metric terminology that we mentioned in the presentation fundamentally refers to how we price a product or a service so that its price aligns with how a customer perceives value in the product or wants to receive that value. So let's look at a simple example that illustrates this principle. Let's say you take your car into an auto shop for an oil change. And the auto shop uses 10 distinct steps in order to change your oil. Now, do you want to be charged for each step in the process, or would you rather pay one overall price for the oil change? I would say in the majority of cases, even if both pricing methods lead to the same end resulting price, most people would choose the single price model because it better aligns with how they want value delivered to them in the oil change. Also, if they want to do comparison shopping, since most shops use a single price, it makes that process easier also. Likewise, if I want to buy a car, give me the transaction price metric. And if I want to lease a car for a certain period of time, then give me that leasing price metric. And finally, if my need for a car is temporary, then charge me for how much I use the car, which is the rental price metric. And so what products and services are you selling? Are there opportunities to find a better alignment of your price metric to the delivery of value to your customers? If you have any examples, please put those or comments or questions in the comments section below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a single video. And as always, I look forward to seeing you again.